What is up, you guys? This is All Day and Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you another Anthem video. And with this one, I'm going to be giving you the Interceptor build. And this is mainly going to be a very strong melee build. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the weapons. So there are two weapons I'm using. I'm using the Defender and the Devastator. I'm using the Devastator for mainly bosses and elites, mainly like single targets. But it does work with AoE as well. If there's a bunch of enemies in one spot, you can just go ahead and use Devastator and do that. But we're not going to worry about that. And then with the Defender, which is going to be my main weapon, the only reason why I chose the Defender is because it's a good overall weapon. And I also have pretty good mods, or I want to say mods, but they're not mods on them, because it gives me the 5% health drop chance, 2% health per pickup, and a 5% ammo drop chance, which is pretty nice. You can either go with the Defender or go with the machine pistol. At least those are my two favorites. Those would be, I think, the best options because both the reload speeds on them are pretty good. The heavy pistol, or the not the heavy pistol, the machine gun pistol actually has one of the faster reload speeds and faster fire rates, but it does have less ammo capacity, while the Defender has a good amount of ammo capacity and has a decent reload speed. And with the Interceptor, you're just all about speed. You want to really have as much, you don't want to take as long as you can with reload. So using something like an LMG isn't going to be as optimal of a great choice to use. Now we're going to go ahead and start with the assault system. So the assault system, the reason you're going to use Cryoglaive, and the reason why you're going to want to use Cryoglaive is because it's going to turn enemies into ice. Some enemies are not going to be turned to ice, some of them are going to be resistant to it, but for the most part, most enemies will be able to get turned into ice. And what this allows you to do is this will allow you to basically get like an aura, get this ice aura on you after you hit the combo. So once you hit a combo on the enemy that's iced, you'll get the ice aura, which ice aura will allow you to turn other enemies that you melee into ice as well, which is going to be really good for the Interceptor because of how squishy you are. It's going to be nice to turn enemies into ice so that way they can't actually hit you. And then the other option that I actually really like, so there's going to be two options, is going to be Searching Glaive. Searching Glaive does a lot of damage to a lot of different enemies, and I think it's just a great ability overall to use if you don't have the Cryoglaive, or if you just prefer using Searching Glaive over if you just like having raw damage. And then next we're going to go ahead and take a look at support system. So support system, you have two different things. You have Rally Cry and Target Beacon, and we're going to go ahead and use Target Beacon because with Target Beacon you reduce the enemy's armor, or you reduce the amount of, they take 33% more damage is what I'm trying to say. So you and your allies deal 33% more damage to that single target because they're marked. And once they die, within the 15 seconds, it's going to jump to another target. But it's not going to reset, so the mark or the target beacon only has 15 seconds up. So what I generally do is I don't worry about using this to any enemies except for like maybe shielded targets, or I'll use it to heavy elites, for example shielded enemies. I'll use Target Beacon on them, and then just allows me to do a lot more damage, and it helps with this melee build as well. And now for the strike system, you're going to be using Wraith Strike. So with Wraith Strike, what's nice about this is it hits up to 3 targets, which is going to be really useful. The Wraith Strike that I'm actually going to be using is this one because it gives me the 2% health per pickup. This one doesn't really benefit me that much, except for the shield recovery delay is nice. But Wraith Strike, it deals a decent amount of damage, but it does also hit 3 targets, and its recharge is pretty quick as well, so you can pretty much use this every now and often. And then the last one is going to be the components. So the components you're going to be using is going to be Assault System Augment and the Blade Inscription. Both of these are only going to be available for the Interceptor. So the Assault System Augment is going to give you health and armor for your Javelin or for your Interceptor. And it's going to allow you to basically have 10% more damage, overall damage, so to your weapons and your melee weapon as well. And then the last one, or not the last one, but for the Blade Inscription, you have, and it's going to allow you to get a little bit more health and armor as well. But what's also really good about this is you do get a 10% base damage increase to your melee attacks as well, your melee strikes, which is going to be very useful for the Interceptor. So you're basically looking at 20% increase in your melee damage. And that's pretty much it. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some gameplay footage as well.
Even the way it dies is unnerving.
I wonder how many beers it'll take you to forget that thing.
I'm gonna go with 8. 1 for each of the tyrant's legs.
No more scorpion talk, please.